Marsha Rosè, and welcome back to my channel, y'all. So, I am in my favorite chair, and so y'all know that it means that I will be talking about, I'm gonna have a little bit of a story time. So, I have a story time for you guys. But before I get into this story time, I would like for you guys to please like and subscribe to my channel and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe to my channel, okay? All right. So this conversation that I'm going to have with you guys today is about that time that I got kicked out of my parents' house. And this started my world into independence. So, okay, so this was back when I had just turned 19. It was the summer of 2005. I had just turned 19. I had gotten like my first like real job working at Walmart, and I was getting like good money. And at that time, I was in school, but I was kind of not in school because I didn't feel like going to school anymore because I was over school. To be honest, like school for me is something that I was doing because my parents told me that I needed to go to school out of high school, to go to college out of high school. And I just basically did what they told me to do. And it wasn't something that I really wanted to do. So I wasn't really going to school. I was just doing my own thing. I was just being a 19-year-old and being around boys. At that time, I had a boyfriend. My boyfriend at the time, he lived in Florida. So sometimes I would go back and forth to Florida. And my parents was just getting sick and tired of my BS because I was just doing whatever I wanted to, because at 19 you think you grown even though you're still living under your parents' roof. And y'all know back in the day, your parents is like, if you're not doing what I'm trying to tell you to do, then you need to get out. I don't care where you stay at, but you need to abide by my rules. So I wasn't abiding by the rules. I was getting locked out of the house sometimes. I was going out partying sometimes whenever I wanted to, because I'm like, I have my own money. I'm not asking you guys for anything. So y'all shouldn't have an issue with that. But coming from a Jamaican household, a religious household, it's like I say all the time, my mother's a pastor, my father's a deacon. I was not able to freely be a 19-year-old. Like, I wasn't able to do what it is that I wanted to do. I wasn't bad. It's not like I was smoking, drinking, doing all this BS. Like they say that what's considered really bad, but according to church people, what I was doing was considered bad. So it was a summer night, and I was in my room. I was in my room chilling, and my mother came into my room. So my mother was like to me that she was out. She was scrolling on the family computer because we had a computer room. Back in the day, there wasn't any cell phones really that had internet. There wasn't, I didn't really have a laptop or anything. So anything I had to do, it was on the family computer. So I had written up like a write-up, and I think my mom got a hold of it, and she was looking at what I was saying and was talking about something that she was not agreeing with. And she got upset with me because she's like, why are you writing this stuff up? I think it had to do with me partying. So she had an issue. Like I said, church people, back in the day, why are you partying? You shouldn't be doing that. So she ended up, what she did was, oh, sorry, my bad, y'all. So she ended up seeing that. So when she seen that, she came in my room and she was talking to me. She was like, I don't like that in my house. You're already not going to school. You're not really abiding by my rules. You think that you've grown. I don't want this in my house. So I'm just sitting there listening to her because I'm not going to, try to go back and forth with my mother, because to me, it makes no sense. So I ended up just listening to her. And at the end of the conversation, she was like, when your father comes, I will let him handle it. So I was like, okay, whatever. Usually I'm a daddy's girl, so daddy's not going to really do anything to me. You know, he's just going to say, probably reiterate what my mother says, and it would just like go from there. I'm back in my father's good graces. But my father came from work at 11, out of work at 11 p.m. at night. And so I was just in my room, and I guess he went into his bedroom where my mother was, and he was speaking to my mom. And then the next thing you know, he knocks on my door, and he comes in my room, and he's, talking to me about whatever the situation is that my mom brought to him. And he was like, that's not okay. You shouldn't be doing this. And once again, I'm listening. I'm not really debating back and forth with any of them. I'm just like basically listening to what they have to say. So at this point, I already spoke to my mother. My mother already told me something. My father, he talks to me now. He leaves. So now I go on the phone. When I go on the phone, I'm talking to my best friend at the time about the situation that I was going through. And I was just like basically telling her the story. And I guess I was loud, or my father was probably listening to me tell the story on the phone. So he got pissed. And he bust in my room. He bust in my room like, who are you talking to about our business and what I said to you? And then he just started, he's like, you think them can't beat me? Because I think at this point, I think he thought that I was talking to my boyfriend. But I wasn't talking to my boyfriend. I was talking to my best friend. So he just got really defensive, and he was just like wilding out. And then he started to like throw all my stuff all over the place. Get told Tamios. And he's just started wilding out, and he's like starting to like take my bed apart and just telling me to leave. I need to leave. So I'm just looking like where I'm supposed to go. He's like, I'm in a business. Just go and leave my house. All of this stuff that you causing in this house, you need to leave. So I'm there. Mind you, this is like 11 something, 12 o'clock at night. So I'm there like, what the hell am I supposed to do? At this time, I didn't have my own vehicle. So how am I supposed to get to where I'm going to? Mind you, I was still on the phone with my best friend at this time. And I had a nightgown on. I had like a night dress on. So I left out of my room, didn't bring anything, just my phone to my ear. And I put on like some flip-flops or whatever. And I went out the house. So I'm just like sitting out the house. And at this time, my best friend hears that it's quiet. So then she says to me like, what happened? And I told her that I was outside of the house. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, they literally kicked me out. And she was like, what? All right, I'm coming to get you. So she ended up coming to get me, and she snuck me into her parents' house that night. So I stayed the night with her at her parents' house, and we were just talking and discussing what I was gonna do. And at this time, like, I was just sick and tired of, living under their roof, abiding by their rules, because I felt like their rules was very unfair. And mind you, I have gotten kicked out of the house multiple times before that. So I was like, you know what? I'm not about to beg nobody again to put me back in the house. I'm not going to do that. So I think I'm going to leave. So at the time, she had a boyfriend, and her boyfriend said it was okay that I stay with him for a short period of time until I got my own place. So this time, so then the next day, we picked up my other best friend who was pregnant at the time. It's crazy. My pregnant ass best friend, mind you, she was huge. This happened probably like in August, and she was due in September, so she was definitely huge. But was she there with me to pack my stuff? Yeah, she was, right in the passenger side. And we drove to my parents' house. And when I rang the doorbell, my father answered the door, and he looked at me. He didn't say anything to me, and I just said to him and looked him in the face, and I said, I'm just here to pick up my stuff. So he let me by. He didn't say anything. He let me go by, and then me and my best friends went in my room. When I tell you, my room was everything was thrown all over my room. It was thrown all over my room. It just looked like when I left that he just took everything out on my room. And I just picked up what I could carry and put it in my best friend's car, and I left and I went to her boyfriend's house. And so I was there for a little while. And mind you, where he lived, I'm a girl that was raised in the suburbs kind of thing. I was raised in an environment where I didn't see drugs, I didn't see alcohol, I didn't see any of that stuff. But where he was living was where you would see all of that stuff. So I was living there, and I already was creeped out by the environment. But you know what? One thing I'm going to do, I ain't begging nobody to keep me to stay nowhere where I didn't, where they didn't want me. And that was where I felt like I was at my parents' house. So I was just staying there for a little bit. And so after a while, he ended up hooking me up with an apartment upstairs from where his place lived. Mind you, it's in the same hood. Like I said, I was working at Walmart, and I didn't have a car by then. So I had to take the bus to and from. So sometimes I would have to walk on the street with these people, crazy people around me. But you know what? I was still doing it. Why? Because I had to do it, because one thing about me, I'm going to show you that I can live without you. I'm going to show you that I can live without you. And that's exactly what I did. And I say all the time, thanks be to God that I survived through all of that stuff, because it was hard. I'm not even going to lie. Like, when I moved into my own apartment, I had nothing. I didn't have an air mattress. I didn't even think about having an air mattress. I didn't think about having paper towels, toilet paper, glasses, pots, pans, anything like that. I didn't think about anything like that. I just thought about having shelter. That was the only thing that I was thinking about. So I did not have the finances to be able to afford no bed. Like, I literally luckily working at Walmart, I had to use my 10% discount. Was it 10 or was it 20? I think it was 10% discount that I had. And I bought an air mattress, and that my air mattress was something that I was living on for a long time. And I got little cheap pots and pans. I literally did all of it by myself, and I did it for a long time. And my parents, I didn't talk to my parents for probably a few months. The first person I actually talked to was my dad, although he was the one that told me to leave. He was the first one I spoke to. No, I talked to my grandma, because my grandmother was living with my parents at the time as well, and she wanted to see me. So I ended up making sure that when I went, I wasn't going when my mom was there, because my mom was always intimidating. She was always scary to me. I did not want her to see me. I wasn't ready to what do you call it? To face her. So I ended up avoiding her. But when I went, I see my grandma. I talked to my grandma. My father was actually there. And when my father sees me, I still remember up to this day, when he seen me, he hugged me. He apologized profusely, apologized to me, and said, "I'm so sorry for doing that to you." And he cried, and I cried with him. And he ended up giving me some money, to just survive off of, because I was when I think about it, I was struggling. I'm trying to fight back tears right now, because through the struggle, I made it. I literally made it. One by one, I was creating a home for myself, and I'm so proud of myself. And it was something that I needed to go through, because it allowed me to realize that I don't have to stay where I am not appreciated, where I'm not loved, and that God is going to have my back no matter what. And that's exactly what happened up to this day too. All the other times with my other relationships, when I was ready to go, I just left. And I survived. And I feel like if I didn't get the experience that I got when my parents told me to fucking go, then I wouldn't have known what it was like to create a life off of nothing. And I did it many, many, many times. And I have to say that I am proud of myself. So people, all y'all people who have gone through or is currently going through feeling like you need to stay in a place where doesn't make you happy, doesn't fulfill you, doesn't a person that you're around somebody that does not appreciate you, you don't have to stay there. Yes, it's always hard to become independent because for one, it's a change that you're doing with your life. Change is not easy. Change is hard. Change is going to come with many obstacles, but in the end it will be worth it. And in my end, as of right now, this is my end because this is my where I am right now. I look back and say that it was all worth it. I love my mother to death. I love my father to death. And I tell them every day, I appreciate it that you guys kicked me out. Because if y'all didn't kick me out, I wouldn't know how to survive on my own. And that is a blessing, and it's a blessing in size. Yes, I cried many, many, many tears, and I cussed them out in my head many, many, many times. But I learned what it is that God was trying to teach me at that time. And I respect them for doing something even though it was hard for them. But this is the end of my conversation about my experience being kicked out and having to get my own independence. But I appreciate everybody who watched to the end. And once again, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Marsha Rosè is out of here. Bye.